Hi team. I do not know what was happening with the Google Hangouts, but for some reason the connection wasn't happening and there was an issue with the audio. So we're just going to stick with live stream for today, and I'm going to see if I can figure out what the bug issue was, why the microphone wasn't picking up anything, and see if we can get that working for next week. But as always, Google Hangouts can be a little bit fussy. So we'll try and get everybody over on here. I'm just going to try and make sure everybody who's trying to get on the call is over here, and then we're just going to jump in and get started on the training for today because it is already 1:09 and we want to make the most of this time. So all right. So for today, we're going to be talking about a lot of subjects which I put in the title setting here, just so we can cover some of the really important basics, and then just answer any questions that come up after that. So I really wanted to start off today with talking about our mission as coaches and why this is such an important thing that we do, and to really get us thinking about the big picture and really behind what we do. The big motivation that I know all of us have is we want to help people. That's what has really driven us all to get into this business, upon our own specific reasons, which I want to get into a little bit later. But really our mission is to get out there and help people and change their lives. And coming from this element, it is a lot easier to get out of our own way when we want to go and talk to people, when we know that we're going to be there to help them change their lives in a really significant way. And this can be as big as saving somebody's life. We have had many, many occasions where it has been a situation where somebody was either in a situation where they were morbidly obese, maybe had a heart condition, something like that. There's been other situations where by inviting them into the community and giving them that support network and those friendships, it saved people from suicide. I mean, this is a big thing. It's bigger than us. It's bigger than, getting a challenge pack sale. I mean, that's the byproduct of what we do, right? Our income is the byproduct of helping people. And when you make that your foundation to go out there and help people, everything else just falls into place. And that is such an exciting thing to be a part of and to be able to witness. So always keep that in mind. At the end of the day, our mission is to go out there and help people. And sometimes it's just listening. Sometimes we can feel a little bit like therapists, right? Because we get people talking to us about all the stuff that's challenging in life and stressful. And then we're there to be able to encourage them to use, healthy elements to get them to deal with that stress. Instead of going and eating that big bag of chips, go and get a workout in when you're going to feel so much better afterwards. And it's just sharing that journey. And I think that's a really exciting element about what we do. Moving from that directly into our why, because these things are linked, but you also have your own reasons for being in this business, and they're going to be very individual for each person. Today, we are talking about the why as lesson 2 in Project Care, and that's the fuel to your fire. That's what gets you going on the days where you're like, man, I just don't feel like it. We all have days like that where we're like, I want to not do it today. We all feel like that sometimes, and when we get back to that, that boiling passion behind why we do this, then it's like, I have to do this because this is what excites me. This is what gets me out of my own way. This is how I get to make my dreams come true. So thinking into your why, we all want to help people, and that is great, and that's noble, and that's fantastic, but your individual why is going to be very specific to you. Maybe you want to be a world traveler and you need a job that allows you to be free and mobile so that you're not stuck living in the same area just because you work there. Maybe that's a big thing for you. Maybe your parents did something for you that was really profound and you want to pay it back by being able to completely take care of them. Maybe for you it's getting vacation time with your family because not everybody's in a position to be able to take those times off. So it's going to be very individual. Maybe you have something completely different for you that you really want to do, and that this is going to be that stepping stone platform to let you do it. And I mean, I'll give you a couple examples from my own life. For me personally, working from home, I need that in my soul. For me, I'm such a homebody. I always have been, even in grade school. I mean, I'd go out of my way to be sick, right? So I could just stay at home. So I hated leaving the house. The home is my happy place. So being at home, for me, that's a really big thing. And then after that, I've written a novel, and that's something I would like to self-publish and be able to market grand scale, these kind of things. I'm an actor, and I really enjoy making my own projects. So being able to fund them to do those fun things like that, that's huge for me. I'm a beach bum, so getting away on vacation to some really beautiful warm climate where I can get in the ocean and swim, that's huge for me. And it goes on, the list goes on. So I think you really got to remember this. Why is that such a burning desire for you to get up and do this? Because some days you just, rejection is a big part of what we do when we talk to people, and that's not something to take personally, but it's something to know that some days you feel like, I just don't want to do it. And when that happens, you need to come back to your why, and that's why you have to do it. And I think when we have something that's really strong to fuel us forward, that's when we're just really like burning passion to go forward with it. So yeah. Yes, Gordon, it does. It was, yes, and Ashley, this is the call. We tried to get on to Google Hangouts, but for some reason the connection was weird and people couldn't hear each other on there, so we ended up having to do this. I'm going to check out Google Hangouts later and see if they're just doing maintenance or whether it's something on my end, and see if we can figure it out for next week so that we can actually all interact on it instead of me just talking. So moving on from your why, once you know, our mission is to help people, your why is what's going to drive you every single day, then what are the main things that you really want to be doing on a daily basis that are going to fuel your business forward? Because those are the things that they're actually really simple. And I know for me, I questioned it for a long time. I'm like, no, there's got to be something more than this. And there isn't. It really boils down to doing these key things over and over and over again. And if you haven't read the book, The Compound Effect, I highly recommend it. It's by Darren Hardy, and it just really puts into perspective that the little daily habits that we do consistently over time, they add up to something big. So what are these little daily habits that we want to make sure that we're always doing? So with the 4 vital behaviors, be a product of the product. That is really step number 1 in this business, is you really want to make sure that you are, do your workout every day, drink your Shakeology every day, and share your results as you have them. And they just don't need to be big things. It could be like you did the 3-day refresh and you lost 1.5 pounds and you feel great. Post that. It's things like that people relate to. And a lot of people, they'll say that they really want to have this big transformation story, but people don't relate to that. When I share that I lost 138 pounds, people are like, good for you. I couldn't do that, because it's intimidating, right? It scares the crap out of people. So having the smaller things that you've had successes with, people go, well, I could do a 3-day refresh, or I could do a 21-day program. I could stick to that, because it's manageable in our minds. So remember that it doesn't have to be this massive transformation. In fact, it's probably better if you're sharing the small ones along the way. And every time you do a program, just go like, here's my before and afters, and here's how it was for me, and this is the results that I had, and I got stronger, or I lost 5 inches, or whatever happened. Share those things, because that's going to be a very powerful thing, and that's going to show consistency to your audience. And I want to say now that it is really important that when you're posting regularly, that people watch. Even if they're not liking or commenting on your post, and you feel like you're posting for yourself some days, because we all feel like that sometimes, people are watching. And you'll get people come out of the woodworks like 2 years later. Somebody who's like, I followed you every single day and you're amazing and you've inspired the heck out of me and I want to work with you. And you're like, you never liked one thing. Not one. And you're shocked that they even knew you existed. And that's the power of what we do. People do not always interact with it. That doesn't mean they're not watching. So always be aware of that. People are watching. And in the beginning, especially, like if you're a new coach, just keep in mind that, people sometimes are waiting to see, are you going to stick to it, or are you're going to give it up before they want to get on the bandwagon. They're kind of like, they're not like betting you're going to fail, but they're like, yeah, how long am I going to stick to this, right? Because people are judgmental. But when they see that you've been doing it for a long time and that you're successful, then they're like, oh man, okay, well, I guess they're serious about it. I guess I can ask them for advice and help because it's something that they do consistently and they've been doing it for a long time and they're there every single day showing up and doing it. So that's something to always keep in mind with it. Just keeping up with the comments here now. Yeah, Gordon, none of us could get the Hangouts to work, but oh well. We'll try and make it work for next time. And thank you, Victoria. So moving on from being a product of the product, so drink your shake every day and do your workout every day and post about it. Really, that's all being a product of the product is live the lifestyle and share about it. Personal development. This is huge. And this is huge because we limit ourselves mentally sometimes. If you're in a bad mood and you're talking to people, they're gonna feel it, even if you're on the internet, right? And if you're in person, even more so. You just can't hide it. So I am a big believer in getting your personal development done first thing in the morning. Make it the very first thing you do. Take control of your mind before your mind takes control of you. Set the seeds of positivity in there right in the morning, and that's gonna motivate you to be excited for the rest of the day. And one thing that I have started doing, which I highly recommend you start doing, and this is something that I got from the book, The Magic by Rhonda Byrne. I love this book. I recommend it to everybody. First thing in the morning when you get up, I want you to close your eyes, think of 10 things that you're grateful for. And this is going to change every day. And sometimes you're going to be like, I can't think of 10 things. But then you got to take a step back and go, okay, I've got a roof over my head. I have clean running water. I don't have to walk 10 miles to go and get clean water. I have food in my fridge. I have a loving husband or wife. I have wonderful kids or fur babies. I have air in my lungs. I am healthy. I can see. There's so many things to be grateful for in life. And that just sets you in this great mood when you get out of bed. It just sets you up to be feeling fantastic, and the rest of your day feels good. On the flip side, do the exact same thing before you go to bed. Why do you want to do this? Because if you start and end every day in positivity, that middle part of your day starts to be amazing. And it's really interesting when you start doing this, how the little things start to really add up and be fantastic. So that's something I recommend, but definitely get in your personal development, whether it's 10 minutes, whether it's an hour, it doesn't matter. Just make sure that you get that in. And again, I recommend it first thing in the morning. Now, you're going to have all different kinds of personal development as you go through this business. You're going to have stuff that's informative, stuff that's motivational, stuff that gets you to think outside of the box, everything in between. You're going to read stuff that some of it is going to be kind of just examples of people who have been through this and who have been successful, and they're kind of sharing their story, so that autobiography type of thing. And it's going to give you all of these different insights and make you think in different ways, and you start to really live in this attitude of gratitude. You start to live in this way where you're manifesting your reality, because you begin to realize that your thoughts directly influence your reality. So if you're constantly thinking negative thoughts and you're constantly having negative things happen, there's the correlation. Likewise, when you start thinking positively, you start drawing more of those positive experiences to you. It all relates. So it's all very interesting stuff, and it's going to get you moving in the right direction to have that life of your dreams. And yes, Victoria, so personal development, really a lot of it is going to be there's actually so many different ways, but for me, I personally read most of my personal development, and these are all kind of books or seminars or webinars or ebooks or whatever the heck it is that you're getting in these information sources. That's going to be kind of fuel to your fire, and it's going to be informative stuff, motivational stuff that it's going to really teach you to live differently. I mean, it's funny. I find this like so hard to describe what personal development is sometimes, but it's to make you a better person from the inside out, because our thoughts do create our reality. So that is kind of our personal development bubble, but it's to make you grow as a human being. So that's in a nutshell what our personal development is. And we will share some of our favorite books with you as we go through this course. But you already got a really good start with Go for No and Go Pro. And I think you're going to see a lot of positive change happen as you start to go through those books. And we're really excited to also hear some comments and feedback as you go through those books and what you're learning and what you're applying and what's exciting for you. So after personal development, and there's no really particular order to these here, invite. And we've got, invite. And that is really just to say, get outside of your bubble, because your business is not going to grow if you're not talking to people. And that might scare the crap out of you, and that is okay. I am an introvert, so I can completely relate to that. And at the very end of this lesson, I am going to talk a little bit about how you can organically have conversations. You can talk to people. It can be through the internet. It can be in person. Maybe you go to church. Maybe you have like a general interest group, a book club, or a sewing bee, or whatever the heck it is that you do where you're interacting with people. For me, I'm a hermit, so I do my business like 99.9% through Facebook. It is whatever works for you. So what my suggestion is when you're inviting, you're really just sharing what you're doing and inviting people to join you on the journey. It's not going out there and going, hey, I'm doing P90X and it's awesome, you should buy it from me. That's not inviting. Inviting is getting to talk to people, getting to know them. We will talk about something called form as we go forward, and this is going to give you a little bit of a structure that you can use when you're talking to people to have subject matter to talk to them about. But really, ask questions, get to know somebody. It could be somebody that you already knew but you haven't talked to for a long time. Maybe you're going to talk to somebody from high school you haven't talked to in 10 years, and you're going to be like, hey, how you doing? I haven't heard from you in forever. How have you been? What have you been doing? Get the conversation going. You're going to find out, maybe they moved somewhere. Maybe they got married. What do they do for work? Do they have kids now? What kind of, passions and hobbies do they have now? It's just going to be an organic conversation. And from that conversation, there's reciprocation. So they're going to ask you what you've been up to. Now, don't be a Beachbody billboard at this point. What you're really going to want to do at this point is talk about all the things you did. Maybe you moved. Maybe you went to a certain college program that you want to talk about. Maybe you got married. You're going to talk about all that, but you're also going to throw in that you have, maybe your fitness journey you're going to share if it happened after you knew them. And it's going to come up organically in that way. Now, normally you're going to hear they're going to be like, oh yeah, man, I need to lose 10 pounds or something like that. That'll give you a natural kind of in to be able to talk to them and invite them to join you in what you do. Maybe that won't happen, and you can just throw it out there as hey, I've got this free fitness challenge coming up. Maybe you want to check it out. It'd be a lot of fun to do it with you. Anything like that. There's so many different ways to reach out. Maybe it's not free. I'm just throwing that out there as an example, but there's a lot of different ways to get involved when you're talking to people that can really organically come up. So we're going to invite, and it's really get to know people, ask questions, see where they're at, see where you can offer help. That's really what the inviting is. And recognition, and this is in so many different ways. One thing that I like to always keep in mind is giving out shout outs to people, like people who inspire you. Maybe it's one of your challenge group participants who's been kicking some butt. Maybe it's somebody on your coaching team who, just did really well that week or signed their first coach or something like that you want to be able to celebrate and just do it publicly. Give shout out. Maybe it's just somebody who you really respect the way that they're always so positive and you want to give them a shout out. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just recognizing people and what they've been doing, because that really just again puts you back into an attitude of gratitude, and it makes people feel good to know that you're there and that you care and that you pay attention to what they're doing. Because why should they pay attention to you if you don't pay attention to them? Really. So we want to make sure that we're always is, being that supportive team. As a coach, we're really just big supporters. That's why we're like cheerleaders on the sideline. We're always like, yeah, go for it. That's what we're here to do, is to get people to be empowered in whatever it is they're pursuing. So regardless of whether it's Beachbody related or not, give people shout outs. People inspire us all the time in our daily lives. You've seen people, you scroll down Facebook and you're like, wow, look what this person just did. Shout it out, just get in that habit of doing that. So after our 4 vital behaviors, while you're not going to be running one of these daily, you should always have one that's on the go. So we're going to talk about challenge groups, and this is the heart and soul of our business. This is where we foster that love and care for our challengers. This is where we're able to empower them, where we create that community with them, and where they really end up getting the biggest support network ever, because they're getting the one-on-one coaching with you individually, but they're also getting that group support. And that's where they're meeting other people who are having those same struggles, but the same successes too. And they're able to cheer each other on. And then you end up seeing all of these interesting friendships start. And then they all start to become these cheerleaders in there. And that grows then into your coaching invite pool, because our organic process is to invite people into a challenge group and then invite people from the challenge group to check out the coaching opportunity. So it's this really general, beautiful little way that we transition from one to the next. So in our challenge groups, that's where we foster all of that care support. That's where people have results. That's where people change their lives. And that is really exciting to watch. So in your challenge groups, you want to be posting in there daily. There's many different ways you can run your challenge group, and I'm not going to say one way is right and one way is wrong. But really, one thing that I think works really well is just be in the trenches with them. And the reason I say that is, if you end up, and this isn't wrong, this is just an opinion. Sometimes if you end up giving like too much resource information, they feel like they couldn't be you. Even if you got that information like off of a website, you just like Googled it, then sometimes people are like, well, I don't know anything about fitness and nutrition. When you start talking about the coaching opportunity, they start to think that you're like on this pedestal, personal trainer, trained, whatever. And that's why I like to be just in the trenches with them. That's not to say I'm not going to share some stuff occasionally, but I don't make it like a super regular thing. Totally up to you. This is just an opinion. There's different ways that you can tackle challenge groups, and that's just one of them. So for Success Club, that's next. Why is Success Club so predominant in our business? There is a reason that is the heart there. Like when you go into your Coach Online office, what's the very first thing you see when you go in there? It's that big box in the very center of the screen that's going over your Success Club qualification. There's a reason. They figured it out for us. And this is again where people try and overthink what we need to do. And what we need to do in this business is very simple. Those 4 vital behaviors every day and hit Success Club every month. If you do that, your business will grow, guaranteed. And the reason this works is because Success Club means you're bringing in at least 3 new people every month and helping them with a challenge pack. If you do that consistently, you have this exponential growth because it compounds over time. Again, coming back to the compound effect, as you do that in your first month, you get 3 people and they're on board. And the great thing is you're bringing in the people with the Success Club. You're helping them individually, and then that's going to qualify you when you're an Emerald Coach and above to be getting those customer leads. So that means on top of the customers you're personally bringing into the business, you're going to be getting customers who are signing up through Beachbody given to you that following month after you've hit Success Club. So if you're hitting Success Club every month, then you're going to consistently be getting customers through Beachbody and through your own efforts, which means you're getting double growth basically. And that is where you're really going to see your business take off and boom. So Success Club really leads into exponential growth. And on top of that, if you aren't aware, there is a Success Club trip every year. And I know the 2018 trip is going to be to Mexico, I believe in the Mayan Riviera. And that's something you can qualify for, a vacation. If vacations are a big thing for you and your family, then free vacation, that's something on the board that you can really aim for. And Success Club is something that if you hit it every month, and you teach your coaches to hit it every month, your business just, it booms into growth. This is where the magic happens. And the thing is, yes, it's a statistic thing, but it's not just that you're selling 3 challenge packs, you're helping people, because we've seen that people who use the program and Shakeology in conjunction have better results than people just who use the program by itself. So that's where you really want to put your focus, because better nutrition, better results. And if you're using Shakeology yourself, and as a coach you should be, then you're going to already know that you feel better, you have more energy, you have less cravings. Your hair and skin and nails are I cannot dye my hair fast enough. My hair grows so fast because of Shakeology. I mean, this stuff works. So it's something that you should be passionate about when you're sharing. And we know that also our best package deals are the challenge packs. So they're going to be saving people money. So it's a win-win-win for everybody. It's a win-win-win. They get your support, you're helping the challenge group, they're getting better results. Usually people who do the challenge packs are more apt to sign up as a coach. You get all of these wonderful benefits that come from Success Club. So make it a point to hit Success Club 5 every month. And I challenge you to also set your sights higher. We do have Success Club 5 and Success Club 10, but don't let that limit you, because if we set the bar to hit 5, then we're going to hit 5. But if we set the bar to hit 30, and that's 15 people, we're not talking something crazy, we're talking 15 people in a month, that's not crazy, you can do that. You absolutely can do that, but it's where you mentally set yourself up to succeed. And so don't hold yourself back, basically. And just to wrap back around to inviting organically, if you are really nervous about talking to people, I highly recommend going through the internet first. If you're an introvert like me, go through the internet. Why? Because you can just hold your breath and go, I typed it, enter. And it's sent, right? You don't have to, like in person, at least for me as an introvert, I can think about saying it, and then the person's like done talking to me and walks away, and I'm like, I didn't say it. But on the internet, I can be like, oh, just bleed and hit the enter key, right? Because we can, get out of our own way. And what's the worst thing somebody can say? No. And no doesn't even mean no forever. So really, one of my favorite things to keep in mind is, if you do not try, you have already failed. But if you try, you have a chance to succeed. Always keep that in mind. And no is part of this job. It just is. We're going to get told no. People, they're not ready yet. They don't understand it well enough. For whatever reason, we're going to get no's along the way. And we just come back to them later down the road when they might be ready. But there are people who you're going to meet who are going to be so grateful that you came into their lives, because you are going to create this profound positive change for them because you invited them, because you took the time to talk to them and ask how they're doing and what their goals are and what they'd like to achieve, and then offer to be that guiding light and that support for them to make that happen. So part of it's get out of your own way. In terms of making it an organic conversation, don't jump in. Don't just send somebody a message. And I know y'all scared of sending this anyways. Like, hey, I'm running a challenge group. You should come and join me. Here's what it is. Here's how much it costs. Enter. Nobody wants to do that. And nobody's going to answer that with anything but like a, nope, not interested, or not answer you at all. But what we do want to do is, hey girl, haven't seen you online in a long time. How you doing? Great. Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, how's the family been? Fantastic. That's awesome. You went on vacation. How's work going? You just ask questions. That's what it comes. Ask questions. Show interest in people. and they'll show an interest in you. And one thing that I find just kind of works well for me, this may work well for you, it may not, I like the I almost forgot to ask you approach. Like, oh, by the way, I almost forgot. I have a little challenge coming up. It's just a little fitness group that's starting at the end of the month. I thought you might be interested in joining us. And then that often leads into them asking for more information, and then the conversation just goes organically from there. It's not a pressure thing. And I think that's where people get scared. They don't want to feel like they're pressuring anybody into doing anything. And at the end of the day, nobody's going to do anything they don't want to anyways. But in terms of not coming off salesy, talk to them, get to know them, find out their needs, wants, goals, their hobbies, what they really are passionate about. Aim to help them. And then when you recommend a product, it's exactly that, a recommendation. It's not just, I'm using 21 Day Fix, you should use 21 Day Fix. It's getting to know, oh, you've got a bad knee, but you still want to lose some weight. And so jumping's out of the question for you, but you'd really like to focus on building strength. Well, maybe PIO would be a good fit for you. And here's why I think it'd be a good fit for you. And it just becomes a conversation and very organic and an information exchange. And that's what it's there for, is just us to be able to communicate with people better, to be able to share our passion for what we do and how it's helped us and how it's helped others, and let them know that it's an option and that we'd love to help them with their goals. So make it just this organic thing that we're doing, and then it becomes a very comfortable thing. So that is really the main thing I wanted to talk about today. Were there any questions about any of that we've kind of gone over? And happy to clarify. But I'm really excited with our Project Care training as we continue with this. It's going to be really exciting over the next 40 days to see all of the changes that happen and get into all the details about how you can really effectively grow the business. And sometimes it's just us getting out of our own way. And if we don't have any questions, we can then wrap up a little bit early and focus on getting our work done for the day, get out there and talk to some people, and get those 4 vital behaviors done, because that is key. Okay, so Ashley's question, what you just said about program recommendations, is there a place to say this program doesn't have jumping, etc., without doing each program? Okay, Ashley, so I get what you're saying. For the programs we haven't personally done, how do we know what to recommend? In the Coach Online office, let me just pull this up so I make sure I'm giving the exact right directions. In the Coach Online office, we do have program breakdowns. Now, if you're like, in a hurry, I usually recommend reach out to your upline or post in the team page, because guaranteed one of us has done one of the programs and can answer your question really quickly. Under sales and marketing, there's product tools kit and challenge group tools. These are going to be the 2 main sources to really go to for the breakdowns on these. And really, this is something you learn pretty quickly after you start giving a few recommendations, because you start to realize that it branches out into a few options for each person's needs. Like somebody who doesn't want to be doing jumping or plyo, then it's like, okay, it's going to be one of these 3 programs. Or somebody who wants to do weightlifting or bodybuilding, there's going to be one of these couple programs. Somebody who loves cardio, these programs. Dance, these one. It just kind of starts to break down into these categories where you can, off the top of your head, go for it. But definitely, while you're starting to get in that habit of making recommendations for ones you haven't done, it's really good to check out this guide. So definitely in the Coach Online office, definitely I would suggest the product tools kit first. And the challenge group tools is a little bit more about how you could run a group, and it's got more of the breakdown of like what you can post in the groups and stuff like that. And it kind of takes the work out of it for us, which is nice if you want to do something without having to spend a ton of time creating content. Awesome, Jeanette. All right, so I think that's it for today. I'm really excited for continuing with this course with everybody, and we're gonna have some fun and really change some lives. what we're really here for. Change some lives and change our own along the way. Yes, Victoria, that's right. Yeah, any one of the coaches has been doing this for a long time. Has done just about everything, and Victoria has done pretty much everything. I've done pretty much everything. Mike's done pretty much everything. So, any of the coaches that you see posting in Team Rage regularly, definitely touch base with us because we'll be able to help. So, awesome! Have a great day, everybody. Let's go change some lives.